Part 2 of fatigue. Low intensity and high duration. A sporting example of this would be a marathon. This would be using the aerobic system predominantly throughout the duration of the activity. At the beginning, for the first 10 seconds, the ATP-PC energy system will be used and the glycolytic system will be used until the aerobic one can be used. This lasts around 3 minutes because the aerobic system is so complicated it can't be accessed straight away, and so for the first 2 to 3 minutes of the marathon will be anaerobic and the rest will be aerobic. There will be many waste products within this type of activity, such as lactic acid, carbon dioxide, and heat, because lactic acid will build up within the muscles. There will also be more CO2 because of the increase in oxygen being used, and so more oxygen will be breathed in and more CO2 will be breathed out. And because of the length of the exercise, the body will be getting hotter, and so blood vessels will vasodilate, and you will also sweat. Another waste product is H2O, also known as water, when lactic acid is broken down, and also when sweating happens. This type of activity is submaximal. RER, which means the respiratory exchange ratio, is the ratio between the amount of carbon dioxide produced and the amount of oxygen used. This is worked out by the amount of carbon dioxide that leaves every minute divided by the amount of oxygen that enters the body every minute. RER plays a role within this because the exercise is over 2 hours. It's going to use fats as its predominant source of energy because it has a higher yield of ATP. The RER for fats is 0.7. just when it's fats being used, and the RER for carbohydrates is 1, and for maximal exercise is 1.15. Another energy source is glycogen. This is stored within carbohydrates. They are found in different places within the body: blood glucose within the liver and muscles. These all have amounts of calorie stores, with blood glucose being the smallest and muscle glucose being the biggest. Fats are another energy store. They have different places where they are stored, as well as these consist of serum-free fatty acids, serum triglycerides, muscle triglycerides, adipose tissue, which is loose connective tissue, which is formed from adipocytes. They range from 7 calories to 80,000 calories, where there is a depletion of potassium. When there is a depletion of potassium ions, this can mean that the excitability of this sliding filament theory means that the impulses are slower. The calcium ions are what helps the muscles contract, and it is important because it helps tryptophan and triomophosin to move, so that the binding site is available for the sliding filament theory. The inhibit of calcium can stop muscles from contracting. ACH is what's needed to help transfer the nerve impulse across the synaptic gap. This is within the neuromuscular junction. This is where the muscle contraction will happen when it crosses there. If there isn't enough ACH, the muscles won't be able to contract at all because it hasn't reached the amount of ACH it needs. When not enough ACH arrives at the receptor site, a contraction can't happen, which causes fatigue. Cholinesterase is an enzyme which helps with the breakdown of ACH after the ACH roll and helps it to be used again. When other muscles contractions need to happen, the synaptic cleft is cleared of ACH by the enzyme. When there is excess ACH or ACH that can't be cleared, or if the enzyme can't clear them, this results in fatigue. There are 4 ways to help reduce fatigue. Number 1 is glucose ingestion. This involves having a highly sugary gel or sweet, such as jelly babies. This will increase sugar levels, meaning the amount of glucose will increase. This will give you a burst of energy and help you to continue performing without fatigue. Number 2 is hydration. This is drinking a fluid that will help fill, for example, a highly isotonic energy drink. This will give you full to stop fatigue. Number 3 is glycogen loading. This is where a week before the event you will do high amounts of exercise and eat no carbohydrates as portrayed on figure 1. You put your body in starvation of carbohydrates, meaning glucose as well, and then the last few days leading up to the event you carb load by eating lots of carbohydrates for every single meal to increase the amount of carbohydrates you eat. And because your body was starved of them, it's now going to hold on to them more sparingly because you were deprived of them for 4 days. This means the amount of stored should be more, and you will have a lot more energy to use. You will have a lot more glycogen to use during the event, meaning performance will be better and you tend not to hit a wall. Number 4 is pre-cooling. This is where you wear an ice vest before an event or drink a very cold slushy drink. As you can see from the graph, people that wore an ice vest or had a slushy didn't fatigue nearly as the ones that didn't or had preheating. By doing this reduces your core temperature. This means you won't reach your maximal temperature before you have to stop at the normal time you would, so your temperature will be lower from pre-cooling.